Hey, it's DDD. Welcome to my channel. Good afternoon, and today I am back to review and discuss Raw from last night for its women's division. Okay, so last night I thought was a good night for the women. We crowned a new number one contender for the Raw Women's title in Alexa Bliss, and it appears now that we have two women's feuds on Raw going on at the moment. Apparently now with Bayley versus Alexa Bliss and Emma versus Dana Brooke. Now, the first thing I want to discuss and just get out of the way, honestly, is the backstage segment that happened last night between Emma, Dana Brooke, and Alicia Fox. Now, honestly, I really thought this segment was cringeworthy. Just the acting wasn't really that great, and basically what it was about was I don't watch 205 Live, but apparently something embarrassing happened to Fox over this past weekend, and Dana was talking with Alicia about it. Now, the one thing I do want to say is, when did Dana and Alicia become friends? Like, where did that come from? Because the last interaction I remember them having, they had like a few different throwaway matches on like main event and superstars, and there was no story between them, and now they're just suddenly friends. Like, that's just a little weird to me, but I normally ignore petty shit like that. I guess I get what they're trying to do, whatever, with the story mainly being about her and Emma. So Emma basically comes in to try and stir the pot between Dana and Alicia, and she basically, I guess, makes up this lie and says that Dana was talking about Alicia behind her back and was making fun of her and all of that. So I guess Alicia, it only makes sense because, you know what I mean, she's supposed to be bipolar or crazy or whatever the case may be. So she's like automatically believing whatever she hears, and she's like snapping on Dana and saying, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Who cares? Like, no one cares. Like, whatever. But honestly, what I think they're trying to do with this little Emma Dana story, I honestly feel like it could go two different ways. It's just a matter of how bad they want Emma and Dana alone. For example, I honestly feel like Emma deserves a fair shot to be on her own and not have to necessarily carry the weight of Dana always being by her side. And I think it would be good for Dana to branch out and, you know what I mean, just spread her wings, regardless to whether she's not that great or whatever. I just still feel like, you know, for the most part, it's still kind of good to let her grow on her own. But I see the benefits in obviously having them realign. And that's what I think could possibly happen. Either they could go their separate ways and it could just be like a one-off match or feud, whatever. Or honestly, I could see this leading up to Dana realigning herself with Emma. What I think, if I just want to give an official prediction, what will happen with this story is that probably next week on Raw, Dana will face Alicia in a match. Emma will probably come out and distract Dana. Or who knows, maybe she might just lose clean against Alicia. I just think this may be a storyline setting Dana up to like continuously lose. And then her and Emma will more than likely have a match at Payback, I would assume as well, maybe even on the kickoff. And I think Emma will go over to make her look strong since she's just returning, really, and all. And it'll be her first big match since coming back. And I think that after Dana loses to Emma, she's going to realize, I guess, whatever, you know, she can't beat her. And then, you know, it's going to kind of be a, if you can't beat them, join them type of thing. And I know some people may not really, I guess, like the idea of them realigning because, trust me, like I said, I do get it. Like, I get that people may want them to have their own separate careers and let Emma have her space to be great and all. But I do believe that they balance each other out because Emma, despite being talented in the ring, is not the most charismatic. And Dana kind of makes up for where she lacks. Like, Dana doesn't really have a crazy amount of charisma either, and she isn't, like, very convincing on the mic and all that. But I definitely feel like she is more so than Emma. So, I mean, you guys got to know how to separate the two. There's a difference between personality, mic skills, and ring work. You have to know how to separate the three and, you know, judge accordingly. So, that's my stance on that. Moving on, we got the number one contenders fatal four-way match for the Raw Women's title between Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks and Mickie James. Now, the first thing I want to say about this is I really like the way WWE hyped this match up for last night. Like, there were, I think they showed video packages for each woman, like quick little things, basically like hyping them up as to what they've accomplished and, you know, how much, I guess, of a threat they could be in this match. I didn't get to see all of them. I just got to see like the final two, which were Alexa and Sasha. So I would assume if they showed those two and that like they did the same for Bayley and Nia. I just didn't catch Raw at like the top of the hour and all because, as I said before, I do have class on Mondays. So for the most part, like, I kind of got to review Raw for you guys. I can't really react right now, or at least guarantee you guys reactions every week for Raw. But yeah, so we get the Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match. Now, as far as what I thought about the match, I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching it last night, I didn't think it was horrible, but I did think it was kind of like sloppy, a little clumsy. Like, they weren't really on point. Like, it wasn't horrible, but it was definitely a couple of like awkward moments I like noticed in the match. But overall, I thought it was decent. It did turn out to be decent in my opinion. I'm not gonna say like good or great, but it turned out to be a pretty little decent match for what it was. And Alexa ended up getting the win in her hometown by pinning Sasha Banks after Nia Jax basically did the dirty work. Now, I don't have a problem with the fact that Alexa won, and even in her hometown, because I know people are usually used to, you know, like people, when it's their hometown, they usually lose. Like, that's usually what WWE likes to do for whatever reason, I guess, to get the heat. Maybe they just love the heat. I don't know, whatever. Or maybe they may think it's too generic and cheesy to have the hometown person win all the time. I don't know, whatever. But Alexa was able to defeat that statistic, and she won, and now she is the new number one contender for the Raw Women's title. Now, as far as if I think the right person won, I think it's fine that Alexa won. I think it's a good thing because, you know, this is a fresh matchup that we haven't seen since their days in NXT. We've definitely seen Bayley versus Nia Jax, I feel like, enough times to know what it's about, and I'm really kind of good on seeing that on a pay-per-view. I mean, the only reason why I'm really like riding with things right now as far as like just going with the flow is because I know that for real, this is all leading to eventually Sasha finally turning on Bayley, and they're going to have their title match or whatever, and I do think that Sasha will be the one to dethrone Bayley. But, you know, so I'm fine, whatever. Like, it wouldn't have mattered if it was Nia or Alexa, like, whatever. I know they're just really filler challengers for now. So, there were also a couple of moments in that match that I like particularly liked a lot. Like, for example, when Nia had Mickie by her hair and was just shaking her for like a good 10 seconds. I thought that was really good. And then I liked the quick interaction that Sasha and Alexa had, because, you know, it's been constantly thrown around, and the big rumor is that Sasha and Alexa don't like each other in real life. However, there's nothing officially concrete on that, so it's like, yeah, you can speculate, but for you guys to just like speak on it and speak as if you just know for a fact, like, you guys don't know for a fact. Just because they don't follow each other on Twitter, or they don't mention each other, like, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do believe it, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like it should still be taken with a grain of salt for the most part for now, because it hasn't been confirmed from either source. Not like they really are, because, I mean, they have to be professionals at the end of the day, but I'm just saying, there's no real proof. Just because Sasha broke Alexa's nose twice, accidents happen in matches. If that's the case, then every person who's ever injured someone, they have real beef. Like, you can't just automatically think like that. But, yeah, so that's how I felt about the Fatal 4-Way, the result, and, you know, the little Emma Dana Brooke crap. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this title match between Alexa and Bayley is supposed to happen next week on Raw, which is fine. It's fine by me, because I know that obviously something is going to happen to where as though Alexa gets a rematch at Payback for the pay-per-view, or I think it might have already been added to the pay-per-view. I could just be tripping, but I could have swore that they said that the match would be next week, even if the commentators made a mistake. Like I said, I could be tripping, but I could have swore I heard that the title match would be next week. But if they're saving it for Payback, that's completely fine, because that's where it needed to be anyway. Like, instead of just rushing it, and then there would be no women's title match for the pay-per-view. But now, leaving Raw behind a little bit and focusing on a topic that I want to discuss briefly that I've been feeling pretty passionate about for a little while now. This Alexa Bliss hype. Now, I want to be very clear about my stance and how I feel about this because I don't want anyone to take what I'm saying the wrong way. Now, for the record, I like Alexa Bliss. For most of my subscribers, the few that I have, and people who may have just randomly viewed videos here and there, and maybe have seen, me and maybe me and my sister's reactions to Alexa Bliss, we are obviously Bliss fans. However, I definitely do believe that she is starting to become overrated and it is starting to turn me off. Now, let me explain why. I do believe that Alexa Bliss is talented and I do believe she has potential. She has a great look to her. She looks very similar to Trish Stratus, and Trish Stratus was WWE's like golden it girl for years. I'll say she's decent on the mic. I don't think she's as good as a lot of you make it seem. I think she definitely has her moments where she is good, but I don't think it's really consistent all the time. Like, I think her delivery is good for the most part, but I think that her actual punchlines and what she says, it's weak. Like, it's underwhelming. Like her insults, I feel like she insults her opponents like a teenage girl or like a little kid. Like it's nothing really like that makes you go ooh ah. Like, I feel like her promos don't really intrigue you. In my opinion, Charlotte is still the best promo for women in the company because even though people like to make fun of how she talks or if they think it's robotic or if she's just yelling, I still feel like what she says, she talks that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? She makes you go ooh ah to what she says. And I still feel like her delivery is good, even if it is her shouting or whatever the case may be. Alexa, I feel like she needs to step it up as far as what she says when she is like talking trash to her opponents, and then I can get more behind, you know, believing that she's just such this good promo. And as far as her in-ring skills, I think that, she's still kind of green and she needs to expand her moveset a bit. I feel like most of her moveset is just a bunch of brawling and, of course she has a few sweet moves, the Twisted Bliss, the Insult to Injury, the Sunset Flip Powerbomb, that little twister flip gymnastic type of thing she does off the top rope, leading into her arm drag. She has a few sweet moves, but that's about it. You know what I mean? And the rest is brawling. And then sometimes she can be sloppy. She doesn't gel well all the time with her opponents. So I'm not trying to shit on Alexa Bliss, but I just feel like she is becoming overrated because when I see comments like, oh, like, she's the greatest of all time, and oh, like, she should win the Raw Women's title from Bayley. No. Slow your roll. Alexa, first of all, to be honest, I feel like she was pushed to win the title a little too fast. I was here for it just because it was something fresh and something new. But I definitely feel like she was still a little too green for the title at the time. And then people are saying she's improved in the ring. I mean, how? I don't see it. I really feel like she's at the exact same skill level that she was when she was down in NXT. The only difference is that once she got to the main roster, she got a better push. That's like legit the only difference. Alexa Bliss is still the same Alexa Bliss. The only thing she's changed is her outfits, like, honestly. So, that was my little mini rant about that. I just wanted to get that out because it's starting to really annoy me now that people are giving her all this hype that I feel like she doesn't deserve. And for you guys to say that you want her to be the next Raw Women's Champion, no. Why? She's already been a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. Like, this is like within recent months. Like, she loses the title to Naomi and now you guys don't know how to act. Like, it's just becoming too much because you guys didn't even want Naomi to go over on Alexa. Now it's like you guys want Alexa to come over to Raw and just shoot straight to the top of the division. Like, it's just like, dude, relax. Like, honestly, I'm not that worried about it though because I know that she's not going to win the Raw Women's title right now anyway. She's just a filler challenger for Bayley. And then once she loses to Bayley, she's going to be out of the title picture for a bit, and then she'll more than likely move on to something else. Now, to be honest, I feel like I may grow more fonder of Bliss once she turns face again, just because I know she does. She is very athletic, and the potential is there. And she's one of those women that knows how to adapt. You know, she can play a face and a heel character and still come off, you know, likable and things like that. She's already over. You know what I mean? Like I said, I have no problem giving credit where it's due, but I just feel like some of you are taking it a bit too far. But this is... Oh. So that was my Raw review and my little Alexa Bliss rant. So, you guys know the drill. Please like my review if you liked it. Comment your thoughts and opinions. I mean, you know, I try to be fair, you know what I mean? Because even though this is my channel, it's not all about me. You know, I honestly created this channel because I wanted to bond with fellow wrestling fans. So, you know, you guys are always more than welcome to share your opinion too, how you feel. If you disagree with me, it's fine, you know. Don't be afraid to comment and say how you feel. We'll have a discussion. And subscribe for more videos. Until next time, it's been DDD. And I might be back tonight to react to SmackDown Live. But if not, then I might be back to review it. But if not, you guys know you'll definitely be seeing me again, bruh. It's all good. So, peace and chicken grease, and